Okay, welcome to this 10-minute training, the 3 icks that are screwing with your money and probably making you feel broke even if you aren't. Let's get into it. So first things first, who am I? My name is Nicole Weaver. I'm an intuitive financial coach and a money management strategist. Let me give you a hint as to what that really means, the intuitive part. I'm not talking about woo-woo stuff, and I'm not talking about having all of the answers for you. What I'm talking about is coaching you on how to trust your intuition when it comes to your money. Being able to trust yourself with money is one of the most important and most powerful things that you can do. And once you can do that, implementing those solid strategies that really fit you and your life becomes the fun part. Yep, you heard me right. I want to make money fun. So let's get started. So, what do I mean when I say Icks? These are the things that you are probably doing in some form or fashion when it comes to your money situation that are either messing with your ability to make money or to save money or to make progress with your money. And the truth is, most of them are anchored in really not trusting yourself. So they actually feel really icky too. So not only do you feel icky doing them, but because you're doing them, money feels icky, which makes you keep doing them. It's a vicious cycle. So I want to bring your attention to them because awareness is the first step to everything so that you can start breaking the cycle. Okay, let's go. So this is the most common thing I see. When people aren't confident with their money situation or how to handle it, they do this and it makes it worse. Avoiding it. Yep, that's right. They just bury their heads in the sand and they don't look at it because if you don't look at the problem, it doesn't exist, right? The truth is, once we know something, you can't unknow it. You have to do something about it. So, this is our brains actually trying to protect us from something that they think we're not ready for. Isn't that so sweet of your brain? The irony of all of that is the very thing that you are avoiding looking at, whether it's your bills, your debts, your balances, it's more than likely the one thing that you must address in order to move forward with your money. In the very first module of my strategy course, this is what we talk about. We talk about the psychology of awareness, the irony of it, and how to avoid, the psychology of avoidance, the irony of all of it, and how to avoid it altogether. So, if money is feeling kind of icky right now, I want you to stop and think. Ask yourself, is there something that I am avoiding when it comes to my money? Am I avoiding looking at it? Am I avoiding bookkeeping? Am I avoiding addressing my debts? Am I avoiding dealing with X, Y, and Z? And if you can recognize the things that you're avoiding, then you can start taking steps to address them. So, number two, the second ick is something that I see when people have been trying to maybe follow some specific money program or when they're functioning from a place of fear and scarcity, and that is being too rigid. If you tell yourself that you're never allowed to spend money on something fun, that you're never allowed to do nice things, or that you shouldn't see the inside of a restaurant unless you're working there, Dave Ramsey, the whole process is going to feel so icky. Not only that, but if you try to force yourself to stick to this exact plan, the same budget every single month, not accounting for the natural fluctuations of life, that's going to feel icky too because, well, it doesn't work. So then it's not working. Life happens. Your budget doesn't work. You feel like a failure and you continue that cycle of just feeling icky. Guys, life happens and your budget should be able to adjust to that. Now, an example. My family has 5 birthdays that fall in November. 5. If I tried to make my October budget and my November budget exactly the same and be cookie cutter, that would not work. I would be screwed. I wouldn't have enough money for birthday gifts. I would feel icky. I would feel like a failure. And I would think that it was budgeting that was the problem. It's not. The important part is that you create a system that actually works for you in your life. And this is something I talk about in my membership is how to create that flexibility inside of your cash flow plan. Now, this ick is ironic because the exact thing people are doing, thinking that they're being good with money, aka not spending it on fun things and not spending it on doing this and creating this rigid budget, is actually what's making it feel hard. You're trying, but it's going to make it feel harder. Now, I have also seen this in the opposite extreme where people think that saving money or paying off debt is scarcity, and so they never do it, right? Okay, well, I 1000% disagree, but we'll talk about that in another training on abundance mindset. So, if you feel like you've had rigid rules around your money, or it has felt really icky because you couldn't really stick to a certain budget every single month, I would encourage you to give yourself some grace and build some flexibility into your cash flow plan. Okay, last one. This is actually one of my biggest passions in my business when I get to help people step out of this ick, and that is not making it your own. When you try to use someone else's methods, cookie cutter budgets, and even worse, other people's goals, you're gonna feel really icky and you're not really gonna be able to connect to what you're doing. Your goals should be based on your dreams and desires. Your budget should be built based on your values and your priorities. In fact, honor your true desires and respect your values, principles, and priorities are two of the core values inside of my program. Also, like we talked about with the last ick, your cash flow plan should reflect your life from month to month and be able to ebb and flow with that. Now, let's talk about this idea of what it looks like to use someone else's goals, because we see this in business a lot, and I really want to bring attention to it. Now, it could just mean setting a goal because someone else told you that you should. Maybe your mom said you should, right? Maybe society says you should aim for XYZ, right? But in business, you know what this looks like? 5K months, 10K months. How many of you have set that goal? 5K, 10K, right? Now I want you to ask yourself, why? Why did you set a goal for a 5K month? Why did you set a goal for a 10K month? The truth is, it's because it's what you see. It's what you see people telling you that you should be aiming for. Now, you may try to rationalize and be like, no, well, it's because it would be great for my family, right? But would it? Have you actually done the math on what your family needs to come home out of the business? And then have you done the math on how much revenue your business needs to bring in order to bring that amount home to your family after taxes and expenses? What if 10K isn't it? What if it's actually $11,750? That's actually my magic number. That lets my husband retire, keeps me out of a job, and gets us to our goals super fast while accounting for taxes and expenses and the things I want to create inside of my business. Same goes for your regular household budget or cash plan. If you're prioritizing what other people tell you you should be aiming for, it's not going to feel right. You're going to think that you're aiming for this goal just because you should. But man, if you could set goals that are yours, that have specific targets, that are aiming for specific things in your life and what your family needs and what you desire to create, the power of emotional attachment you will get to that goal is incredible. Because otherwise, when you're doing things based on what someone else told you should, you're not going to feel good doing it. It's not going to feel like it really meets your needs, right? Now, is it possible that in exploring your own desires, you could come to the same conclusion as somebody else, right? And do the thing that they suggested? Sure. But wouldn't it feel better if you knew that it was because it was what you wanted and what was best for your situation, right? So make sure that when you're creating your money management plan or your budget or your cash flow plan or whatever you want to call it, that you are accounting for your values, your desires, your priorities, and the unique things that your family needs in any given month. That also means, of course, using a system that makes sense to your brain and not some magical, complicated spreadsheet that you bought off an Instagram ad. Okay? All right, so let's recap. So, these are the top 3 icks that will keep you stuck in a vicious cycle with your money of feeling gross and feeling like it's hard. Number 1, avoiding it and burying your head in the sand. Take the leap and take a peek. Number 2, being too rigid. Let your money be flexible and let it ebb and flow with your life. And number 3, not making it your own. You get to enjoy your money journey, and the only way to do that is to make sure that it actually aligns with your desires, values, and priorities. Now, I get it. Money feels icky sometimes. That's why I have a job. But it's important that you are regularly pulling your head out of the sand and reminding yourself that money gets to feel good. You actually get to enjoy the journey. You get to make it your own so that you can trust yourself, your money, and your systems. And sometimes we need reminders. Sometimes we need someone to point out the things we hadn't thought about. So every Monday, I send out a Money Mindset Monday email. It has a quick blurb or something to think about when it comes to money mindset or how to approach your money, and a prompt for you. Journal prompts, meditation prompts, challenges, things like that. So you can scan this QR code that you see over there on the screen, or you can click the link that will be in the comments to sign up for this free Money Mindset Monday email series. I send it every single Monday unless it's a holiday, and it's just going to give you that little reminder on that weekly basis of what you can pay attention to make sure that your money journey actually feels good. So remember, anytime money feels icky, I want you to tell yourself, this gets to be fun. And then come back to this training to remember how. See you next time.